just how I found out about this podcast. I was telling you guys before that Michael Collier and I are friends, and he called me and he said, wait, and I was asking him about Kym Whitley. And he said, she has a podcast, right? You need to call her. And I said, what? I didn't know. So it's like one thing always leads to another. And, and the minute that I called Kym, I think she hooked me up to be on the show a week later. Like, it was like a week later.
Just like Michael Collier is in the movie.
Sita, you forgot. He was at my studio a week before he told you that too. How great is that?
Michael Collier.
That's how God.
When I tell you, God is really good, and I do have to say this about my friend. She is really good about bringing people on the show and spotlighting folks. Kym, she may lead an interview halfway through, but she will bring folks on and spotlight them because Kym believes in giving back, as I do. But Kym is more proactive than me, and I so appreciate who Kym brings on, because I had never heard about Miracle Butter. When you came on, she said Sita wants to come on. I was like, who is Sita? And you came with the Miracle Butter, and I remember I got some from my stepmom, and she has been using it on her feet and just loves this product. I love the fact that your packaging is burned on. This is so beautiful, just the packaging that it comes in. It's quality, and I love, and this is so pretty. Like, you can put this on your countertop, and it just looks very, very gorgeous. I have it in my hands.
And then the product
it smells so wonderful.
16 different scents. So whatever it is that you're into, if it's lavender, if it's lemongrass, if it's amber, like, we have a scent that everybody would love and become their favorites. I mean, we even have these little minis that we give out. If people can't figure out what's going to be their favorite scent, we give them a whole collection so that, then they can buy the big monster jar once they pick which scent that they love. But I really feel blessed. I feel honored to be able to come on the show and give you guys the update of just how God has blessed me, because I was at my dining room table when the show came on, Two Funny Mamas. And literally, I had orders, and I have pictures of this. I had orders, me and he wasn't my husband then. Y'all met him at the show. He wasn't my husband then, honey, but he was getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and putting all the orders around the table. And by the time I woke up, he had like 40 orders already packaged. And then I would wake up at like 7 and do my 40. And then I hired 2 people to come in, and we were like packing orders around the clock.
What would you say to somebody who wants to? I love the fact that you said at 50, you completely switch careers. That's very hard for a person to do, because you're like, I'm 50. What do I have to offer? You hear that voice in your head. Yeah. Do I deserve this? Where do I start? Like, Michael, Guy White, and Gilly are making their own films. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to start their own business?
To go for it, because it wasn't just the fact that I was 50 that I felt like was something that was against me, but I went through some real trials in my life. My father passed away, and he had a very large estate. Okay. Robert Johnson, the president of BT, was the executor of his estate. And we had some issues that happened, and it turned into legal issues for about 6 years after his passing. So I was pretty much like devastated. I had a lot of things going on with my career that I had to put on hold, the TV stuff. So, I was a producer on the Bethany Frankel show. I was a producer on America's Got Talent, Love and Hip Hop. I was a producer at BET for 15 years. So I stepped away from producing for 2 years just to help handle my dad's legal estate. And when I came back to try to get a job, there was no one trying to hire somebody that was out of the game for 2 years. And then I was starting to reach 50. So I literally said, let me see what I can do. My girlfriend was an administrator at Harlem Children's Zone, and she asked me, because I was a culinary producer too on a lot of these shows. She said, why don't you go to the school and teach culinary in an after-school program at Harlem Children's Zone? I went to Harlem and started teaching in a basement kitchen with a very small salary that I wasn't used to, but I was happy to have a job. And the minute I started serving people in the community, and then I just wanted to lose a few pounds. So I started walking in Harlem, walking through the streets, walking up and down 125th Street. And I saw the Africans, selling the shea butters. And I said, you know what? I want to buy some of this, but it was so hard. I couldn't figure out how to get it into my skin. So I started mixing and playing with the ingredients because that's what my culinary background was teaching me to do. And when I came up with a formula, I decided to share it with my students who had severe eczema. This is like a thing that is really plaguing, especially the Black community, but a lot of people have eczema these days and allergies and things that like skin issues, dermatitis. So I decided instead of teaching a culinary lesson that particular week, I am going to introduce to them my product and teach them how to make it for themselves. So I got the blenders and the mixers. We never put heat on our product. We always cold pressed it. So that's what made my product different. And when they came back from Christmas break in 2016, they were like, Miss Sita, look at this. My eczema is gone. My eczema is gone. And so they said, you should turn this into a business. I said, I don't know anything about retail. I don't know anything about selling. And they literally showed me. These were 16-year-olds, and they encouraged me. And I was like, start a business at 50, and it was scary, but 6 years later, $2.5 million later in sales, and I have absolutely no debt. I don't have any loans, and I don't have any partners. Like this is a female-owned business that I have grown organically, brick by brick by brick. And I promise you, it's people like you both who helped put me on this platform and put the product out there. And now I bet you 40% of the people that are watching right now can say, oh yeah, I buy Miracle Buttercream, because your audience is like my audience,
Yeah, our audience is very supportive.
Two funny mamas. Two funny mamas.